Today I want to talk about program and how you can kind of program a full body workout in one session of work, especially when you don't have a lot of time. And this is times when you're doing full body workouts, that kind of one of the goals is you're trying to target everything in a sense, knowing that you may not be able to work out for a few days, or maybe it's just one of those days where you just want to just hit everything and then walk out the door. Okay, so I want to think about when we're doing full body exercise, think about circuits, right, where we're going to do multiple exercises in a row. What this allows you to do is create a little bit of density of time, but reduce the amount of time at which you have to complete these typical routines. So a lot of times what you'll see is people do an exercise, they'll wait like 20, 30 seconds and then repeat that exercises. In some fashions that is great. However, when you don't have a lot of time, you need to kind of condense that and keep moving. So what we want to think about here is putting these into two different splits. So you'll have two different circuits in your routine, okay? Obviously you want to warm up properly and get the body kind of moving before you go into these, but how I want you to start to think about it is splitting your upper body exercises up, splitting your lower body exercises up, and then combining an upper body exercise with a lower body exercise and kind of repeating. So how this kind of works is in circuit one here, we have an upper body exercise, a push, that could be push-ups, an overhead press, anything that involves you pushing the body away in a sense. Then from there, which is we're going to go down to a hinge exercise, which is more of something that's going to work your hamstrings, your glutes. It makes you kind of shift your hips back in your traditional, what would be like a traditional deadlift. So what I like about this is we have an upper body exercise up here, then we go to a lower body, so it allows your body to rest the upper half while it works the lower half, right? Then from there you have just kind of crushed the body with an upper and lower. We need to let the body kind of down regulate, okay? So as you work out and as you exercise, you're going to expend energy, and that's the whole goal of this, is to burn energy, you know, try and get stronger. Well, as you go through these circuits, there's going to be a higher depletion of energy. So what we want to do is we want to throw in a mobility drill to let the full body kind of rest. And that can be a breathing exercise, that can be just doing a static stretch, anything that's lower intensity, okay? And that allows your body kind of recharge. Once your body's recharged, you bring in a core exercise like a plank, a side plank, anything that's going to target the rib cage to pelvis region to then lock everything back in, and it kind of recharges you and restarts you to go back up. So the circuit would look like push-ups, then you would do a deadlift, then you would do, say, a pec stretch, or lay on the ground and do some diaphragmatic breathing, then you would do a plank, and then you'd repeat. So you don't have to wait a lot of time in between exercises. You can kind of keep moving through that. Now, what we know about exercise and movement and muscles is whenever we do something on one side, something's happening on the other side as well. So our circuit one is we have chest, shoulders, hamstrings, glutes. We're opening the body up with some mobility, down regulating it, and then we're locking in some core. Well, what about your back muscles? What about your quad muscles? So in split two or circuit two, we work on those muscles, right? So we think about a pull exercise, which would be like a rowing exercise, anything that pulls your body towards that area. Then a squat exercise, that could be body weight squats, that could be lunges, anything that's going to target the quads and the glutes. We throw in that mobility drill again, because once again, if these two exercises are hard, you're going to need time in between to rest and recharge, and then you lock it back in with the core. And then you repeat this 2 to 4 rounds, or depending on kind of what your goal is. Now, a couple things is what you see with this is we're able to get chest and shoulders in here, and then on the other side we get some back and some shoulders in over here. So you're able to do a full body split without taxing yourself too much and kind of getting as most out of it. The key when we talk about when you shift back up to the next exercise, or the one thing is when you're leaving that mobility drill, is how should you feel? So a 1 to 10 scale, 10 being it's the hardest ever alive, you're panting, you just like, I need a break. You may want to stay there a little bit longer. Now, say you hit your mobility drill and it's a 1 where you're like, okay, I could repeat this 4 or 5 different times. I'm ready to go. That's when you kind of move on. So you have to listen to your body and see where your heart rate's at, see how you feel, because you may spend a little bit more time down here when you've gone through a few circuits of this. Because if you go hard with the push-ups, the deadlifts, when you hit mobility, you're going to have an elevated heart rate. You're going to need time to recharge. So take that in consideration when you're doing these circuits, because this is what's going to allow you to kind of increase your strength or increase your cardiovascular endurance. And then you just keep repeating this, so then you can target the full body in such a short amount of time, and you don't have to spend time in between waiting, okay, 30 seconds and I can do my next set. You can kind of hit everything and anything. Another thing, a good thing about this is, if you think about it, a push-up, I'm on the ground pushing up, and then a hinge, I'm going to stand up and I'm going to do a deadlift. So it makes me get up and off the ground, so you're going to burn a little bit more calories. So thinking about putting an upper body exercise with a lower body exercise, then supplementing it with a mobility drill. Like I said, I really love breathing exercises because it helps allow you to down-regulate the system. It's one of the best ways to bring that heart rate down. Plus, it helps you work on efficient diaphragmatic breathing, utilizing oxygen in the body, especially when there's a deficient amount coming in a sense. And then you lock that in with that core, and then you shift over and be like, okay, if the first circuit I targeted chest and shoulders and I got hamstrings and glutes here, then on the other side I'm just going to flip on the other side. Let me get some back in, let me get some quad dominant work in, and then go to the mobility drill and core. And the cool thing is you can always keep switching these up. This is just one simple way to split it. So if you guys have any questions on exercise programming, I'm going to start to go a little more in depth in what we work with our CF patients on how we can improve based on what their goals are. Please don't hesitate to reach out to us.